a lot of people have said they don't use this at all because they don't really see the need for it. If it's a case of just monitoring levels, they're looking at that and they're thinking, you know what, we can just do it from setting up view groups. For example, you can go in here. Let's see if I have some view groups set up. Yeah, I do. So drums, for example, and then that'll show you just the drums or what channels I've assigned to the drums, even though I'm not named them underneath. So people will tend to use the view groups. I think the view groups are kind of cool because they give you a lot of information right there on the screen. Plus, you can see the main left and right. However, the overview page actually has quite a lot of benefits that you can benefit from. So, for example, I don't know if you know this, but I've seen a lot of people do this where they'll come back here. Let me just turn this off, go on all. And then what they'll do is they'll select aux 1 and 2. Then they'll come back to the view group just so they can look at the view groups, which is a very long-winded way of doing things. Because underneath here, if you simply just click on the option underneath, you can actually switch to that aux directly from here, and you don't have to go out, go across. I used to do that at the start myself. Not very helpful, but you can literally flick between and look at something really, really quickly whilst you're in here, rather than having to go through the long-winded way. If you were here on the mains, and then you'd have to come here and say, oh, which one were they on again? Is it 5? No, it's not 5, it's 4. Then you scroll across and you're looking for the option. Maybe it's something in the FX. They want something in the FX, and you don't have to do all of that. You can just simply come out over to here, and then you'll be able to see all the channels. You'll be able to see the subgroups, the VCAs, etc. But here's another cool thing. You can actually go into the FX channels, and you can increase how much of effect 1, effect 2, effect 3 you have on the different channels by coming here and just turning the effects up here. Now, obviously, this little bar here is very small, and it'll be difficult for you to gauge how much you're turning it up, as opposed to when you come here and then you can actually turn up the actual effect on each channel quite nicely, and you can, you've got enough space to gauge, add a little bit more. This is a bit clumpy. Also, with other devices, it doesn't actually let you physically move the faders. So for me, I'm on this little HP laptop. It doesn't physically let me move these faders, but when I'm on my tablet, it does. So it depends on what device you have. It's all on the Mackie website, and they would tell you what devices will work. But I think it goes by screen size and which app you have. So yeah, that's one thing to take into account. This is running Master Fader 5.2, so that's something to take into account. But here's another cool thing about using this section here. It gives you an overview of the actual channel. So you can see I'm speaking to you on channel 3. And you can see what's happening on channel 3 here. But you also have information like if it's peaking. You see that? I know it's kind of covered by the fader. That's, it is what it is. But it tells you if it's peaking. It'll also give you, if you look above the fader, you see that red line? You see there's 2 red lines here? That's the gate and the compressor gate and the compressor limiter. And it's the compressor gate on top first, and then it's the limiter underneath. And that moves as well. So that'll give you an idea of what's happening in terms of compression across multiple channels without having to go into that individual channel and figuring it out on the actual channel itself, like this. Or you'll see it there. But, yep. Look at me. There we go. So you have the settings here. But if you just wanted an overview, like what you get here, it's the same situation. You can see that from here. It's small. It's a bit clumpy. But the information is there and available for you, including clipping. And then another cool thing you have is you get to see at a glance the mute groups. So currently, I left this on purpose. Where are we? There we go. So I deliberately left this on purposely. And I hang on 1 second. Let's take this off the screen. Here we go. So I deliberately left this on purpose so that when we were in this overview, we'd be able to see that mute group 1 is activated. Let's come back in here, turn that off, and we'll see that in the overview, mute group 1 is no longer activated. What's on mute group 1 anyway? Oh, okay. So channels 1 to 4. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so you have a lot of information available to you just from this screen alone, and it can be very helpful. You can even see things like solo color schemes, so piano and bass, they're orange. This is a mic, that's blue. And you can see the overall effects. So there's a lot of information you can glean from the start, whether the channels are muted, and if you're on a device where it allows you to actually interact with this, you could actually easily quickly just go into the channel from here, mute the channel, go in there, mute whatever channel you need to, and then go back to the overview for the main and apply changes from here as well. So there are a lot of advantages of using this particular page if you want quick access to do things on the fly. But if you're troubleshooting and it's something a bit more complicated, go into the actual channel itself, and then you'll have all the options you need to be able to manipulate that. And if you just need to view various items, you can set up, view groups and just have whatever you need on the screen, and it gets rid of what you don't want. So that's pretty cool. All right.